All right, so this is the real deal, and we're going to get into using video to increase your real estate business. So yeah, we're going to go through why do video, how to start video, and what do you need to start video. All right, so why video? So here's some statistics. All right, if you're a numbers person, this is all for you right here. So they say that the human brain retains information 100 times longer than text. They also say that 68% of marketers agree that publishing organic video content has a better return on investment than Google Ads, which is one of the top advertising platforms currently. 74% of marketers realized an ROI of 50 to 500% using video testimonials on their website and socials. Videos attract 300% more traffic for nurturing leads. 85% of buyers and sellers want to work with agents that use video in their marketing, and 86% of home buyers use video to research a particular community. This is a big one here, this last one. Real estate listings with video receive 403% more inquiries than those without. So let that settle in. 403, that's over 4 times the amount of inquiries. So a couple things I also want to point out. There's a book called Building a Story Brand. Has anyone here read it? Building a Story Brand. So it is one of my favorite books. Oh, you've read it, Ansh? Awesome. High five.
While ago.
Good. So that's one of my favorite books. It's, in my opinion, on the required reading list for anyone in sales. Written by Donald Miller. And every book I read, I don't really retain everything. I take away one key thing from it. And the one thing that I really take away from Building a Story Brand is the fact that we as humans are naturally tuned to be attracted to stories, right? That's why we love watching TV and movies. And some of you who like to read fiction, right? Like, if you really think about it, Harry Potter, what value does that actually bring our lives, right? I don't make any more money by watching Harry Potter. I don't run a better business by watching Harry Potter. Right. Well, this is a weird one because I never got into Harry Potter, but people are obsessed with Harry Potter, right? But it provides no value to your life in all reality. So we're naturally driven to stories, right? And I'm sure some of you have heard me talk about this already, and you will hear me talk about this again. But every good story has 3 major components. There's a hero. That hero has a goal and faces an obstacle to get to that goal. And a guide comes along and helps them over that obstacle. So, one, spoiler alert, you're never the hero. You're always the guide, right? I get it. Like, you want to be Luke Skywalker and nobody wants to be Yoda and short and shrivelly and green. I understand that. But that's the point, right? You want to be the guide who is bringing Luke Skywalker into your world and helping them overcome the obstacle of purchasing a home. And what better, easier, and more passive way to do it than with video, right? All right. Blasted through that portion really quick. Anything in that stand out to any of you guys? Any ahas?
The 400 thing stood out to me.
It's a big number.
Yeah.
And by the way, Tammy, watch your made up words so I don't have to chop things out of this video.
I will. Sorry about that.
You are forgiven.
I appreciate that. And I do make up words quite frequently. So thanks, Chris.
I was listening to you so focused that I didn't pay attention to the slide.
Well, yeah, if you want to grab any of these numbers, but this is, I mean, really the numbers aren't that important. It's really the story they tell, right? It's that humans are more attracted to stories, right? Humans are more attracted to video content, right? I'm sure if you guys scroll through social media now,
I
any of you,
actually tested that theory because I took an Ignite with Chris Grant, and he said people are more likely to click on a video than just to like look at the pictures and everything. So I tested it, and I got a lot of hits on a video when I didn't expect to, but it worked.
yep,
So
video is king right now.
agents use videos to market. How?
Oh, absolutely.
I've never seen one.
So I'll get into that in just a little bit. So this is a good one. So how to start video. We'll get to answering that question on. I'll give you some examples in this portion of it. So first, we need to determine a goal. There is a plethora of things that we can use videos for, right? Video conferencing, right? What we're using right now. This is an entirely different type of video content, and I'd approach this differently than I would say a market update video or a more coaching mindset type of video, right? All those I'm going to use different. Yes, it is Donald Miller, Ed. I'm going to use different strategies, maybe even use different equipment or different platforms for those things. You know, how we're using videos for lead generation, how we're doing vlogging. I hate blogging, by the way. Just blogging is so like Y2K, right? We've moved on past that. We've gone through the pandemic. Nobody reads anymore. They just want to watch a video. All right. Nobody cares to read your articles. Sorry to say it. But and then like social branding, what are the things that we're doing with video to just brand ourselves and build mental what's it? Mind share. That's the word. Build mind share. Also targeting your audience. Who are we targeting? Are we trying to just get our name out there on social media? Are we trying to increase our validity, right, by using testimonials? Are we marketing an open house and trying to get people into those attract buyers to this open house, right? There's different avenues and audiences, and we need to know who we're speaking to, right? When I do trainings, I train to both leaders and to agents, right? The way I speak to real estate agents is going to be different than how I speak to leaders, right? The tips and things that I give you guys are going to be different because you're 1099 independent contractors. I'm going to speak differently to people who are W-2 employees, right? There's just different angles. So I'm blasting through this super quick. So if you guys ever feel free to just unmute and ask me questions, tell me to slow down, whatever. I want this to be as interactive as we can be. So who here struggles with being on video? Yep. So
I take like
I always have
500
people.
tapes. I like and barely ever use them.
Yep. And why is that, Tammy?
I tend to look away from the camera, like I'm just doing now. I look away. I don't know what the heck I'm looking at because there's nothing there. I do have a speech impediment, so that comes out sometimes. And then, yeah, I'm just nervous about how people will perceive me. So I stumble.
Mm-hmm.
And my kids don't help because they stand there and make fun of me.
Yeah. That's great. I want to circle back to that later on. Anybody else want to share like some of their challenges with just being on camera?
I don't mind putting my face on camera, but I hardly know what to say most of the time. I think that's my biggest struggle is like, what are we going to make a video about? Because I'm happy to be on camera for people. I just want to have some value.
Awesome. That's well, not awesome, but I get what you're saying. I'm glad you shared that.
Make good
Thank you,
videos
Amber.
though, Amber.
What did you say?
I like them. I always watch them.
Oh yeah, everybody says that, and I'm just like, oh, I should make more videos, but like, about what? For what?
I don't know, but your personality comes through, and that's like why I watch them.
Thanks. I just want to help them.
Yeah.
Not
right, so how
knowing
about
what
you,
to
Ed?
say is a big deal.
Yep. Okay, so I'm hearing that
Subject
twice.
and conversation, and I tend to want to know exactly what I'm going to say through it instead of stumbling through and going, how about this?
Yep. All right, so I'm taking notes on these, so I make sure that I address them as we go through. All right, then Tammy with the looking away and
I
the
just-
kids. Sorry, what was that? I heard someone on mute.
I just find that when I look at videos from other agents, I would rather they want to show than seeing the agent. You know, get to the point.
Mm,
I feel like
People
it's
scroll through videos. They want to see what you're videoing. It's not about you at this point. It's about the property you're showing. I mean, you can go start the video and then end it, but you shouldn't be on screen the whole time.
you bring up a good point, Rhoda. Thank you. I heard another voice. Was there another? Was Ansh or Ed?
Yeah, it was me. I missed my point. I was too focused. Yeah. Well, so I tried to make one video, and it was freaking complicated. Switching from one camera to, let's say, a caption on the screen, focus in and out. There's a lot of post-processing that needs to happen, even if you're making a video on your phone. Unless you have the whole script ready and your video is not 10 minutes long, it has to be like 1 or 2 minutes long. And then you have the whole script ready. You know exactly what you're going to say and what angle to keep the audience entertained and captured the whole time of the video. You have to, pop up your caption, a property, if you're showing a property, or if you're giving out some helpful tips, then you got to flash that on the screen. So transition within the video requires you to have some sort of software to back it up, and that's where kind of things fall off my plate because it's just too much work.
All right, I'll definitely get into that as well. So awesome. So thank you for that. Thank you for your input, guys. I've written these down, so I'm going to do my best to hit them as we go through this. So one, I'm just going to give you guys some like profound knowledge right now. The face and that's recorded and the voice that's recorded when you do videos is the same face and voice that the general public is subjected to every single day. So don't worry about it, right? Don't worry about how you look and how you sound, because that's normal for us. It's just new for you because you've never seen yourself on camera and you've never heard your voice outside of your head. I hosted a podcast for 2 years. And I was one of the hosts. I was a co-host and the producer. So I would spend at least an hour every single week listening to myself back, listening to myself talking. And that was the most painful thing for the longest time. And I grew, because if you sit there and listen to how many times you say in an hour every single week, you bet you're going to stop saying you bet you're going to hear those filler words that are like, oh my gosh, I sound like a freaking idiot. I'm going to stop saying that, right? And you're your own worst critic, right? It's going to sound worse to you than anybody else. So just get over that. Just know that it'll get better. You'll get used to it. And it's nothing new for the rest of the world. It's only new for you. So a couple ways to help. Well, one way to help get over that initial fear is to do videos behind the camera, meaning you're not in the video. You're just videoing something and maybe dictating over it, narrating it. You can do things like you can do video walkthroughs of a home, point out certain features and you're just behind the camera. You can also do voiceovers later on in some software that I'll share later in the video. So it's good, and it's not, it's best to be in front of the camera, right? You want people to start recognizing your face, recognizing who you are, your mannerisms, the things that, you know, the way you talk, the facial expressions you make. So great way to get started is behind the camera, get used to hearing your voice, and then start getting used to seeing your face. All right, so Ansh, you asked for, you know, what we can do in real estate. So there's a bunch of video examples here, and these are all out of Florida, but we got this guy here, and it should work. Yep. So if I click on this link, it takes you to his
I thought you were gonna share
channel.
I thought you were going to share the Florida man video. That's okay.
Oh, I'll go into more. So let me switch to, man, they've added so many options. There we go. Optimize for video. All right. So this year's we got Craig, and he's out of Fort Myers, and he just does regular videos about himself in Florida. And you'll see the first video is him.
Here we are back out on the water today. We got the boys back here with the fish. Hey guys, show them what you got. Oh, little sea.
So it's just him and his kids fishing, right? And just showing the lifestyle of where he lives. He does a lot of things about Florida, about real estate, and there's a lot of things just about life, living in Florida, you know. And then we have Chris Cusimano. Chris Cusimano is an agent out of the Boca Raton office, where I just started working a few weeks ago. And he has his team, Homes by Cusi, and he
know how it is when
does all these videos. And you'll see with this video that I'm about to play. Actually, here, let me turn the volume up.
The Homes by Cusi team understands this, and we strive to minimize the stresses of this big transition while doing everything in our power.
He's doing the behind the camera, right? He got this cartoon made, and then he's just doing the voiceover for it. Granted, you don't have to go crazy and get a cartoon. This was kind of over the top, but you can screen record your computer screen, and talk over it. Chris also does, he does a lot of videos. So he does all of his listings. He'll do a video about the listing. He's got a team, so he'll include the agent on that listing. He's got things like, you know, housing strategies, things buyers need to know, all great real estate content. And then, so there's something some people like to do is, and I recommend when you're doing content, don't make it all about real estate, just real estate, right? Have a niche, have a quirk, something about you, right? I do, I don't know, if you look at my reels, I do a bunch of really random things in my reels. I try to make my reels a little more on the coaching side. Granted, I'm not as consistent as I'd like to be, but like I skateboard. That's one of the big things in my life. I grew up skateboarding. I've gotten back into it recently. I'm doing it with my son, and I'm falling and hurting myself a lot. It's been great. So something I recently did was a video on life lessons that I've learned at the skate park, right? And it's taking something that's a niche of mine and turning it into, hey, here's a lesson that anybody can learn, even if you're not into skateboarding, right? And I'm sure all of you are into something other than real estate. None of you look that boring to me. So I'm sure all of you have some sort of niche that you're into that you can talk about, right? And that makes you human, makes you personable. So what Chris does is he has a separate channel over here where he does his family stuff. And he'll say, you know, our trip to Animal Kingdom or Disney or whatever they're doing. He does that in a separate channel. Now it's up to you whether you want to separate them or keep them in the same channel. I personally would vote for the same channel. Then we have this one here. I'm not sure who did this video, but this is, yeah, it's living in Southwest Florida. He's got a video just about, you know, what it's like to live in Lehigh Acres. And then one thing, this guy is out of my office. And this is, he has a pretty big following on YouTube, and I like to use him as a what not to do. And I have it's let's just say, you know, our belief system, I believe, is the Y4C2Ts, our MVVBPs, right? And does anyone know what the I stands for in the Y4C2Ts?
Integrity.
Integrity. Integrity. Yep. So when I look through this, through his videos, oh, we've got, let's see, mortgage rates skyrocket. Let's state of emergency, buyer's remorse, extreme volatility ahead, home equities nosedive. It is getting really bad.
He's really a
Goodbye,
negative
Florida, I'm
person.
out. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's very
He says, "Goodbye,
negative.
Florida, I'm out." He's still here in Florida.
Does he know that you use this as what not to do?
Probably not, but I'll totally tell him I would.
Okay.
But
Funny, I see what you're
so
saying.
this lacks integrity to me. This is clickbait. And you know why he has 16,000 subscribers is the same reason our news stations don't share anything positive. Right? This contributes to the garbage in our culture, and it pisses me off, to be frank. And so I beg you guys, don't do stuff like this. Right? It works for him, but I'll tell you, I would never, if I were to pick a realtor, he'd be the last person I'd pick. Right? So sorry, I'll get off that rant. And then I don't know, there's some sports ball video here. I don't know why that's on there, so I will just skip that. But that's I would totally recommend if you want to look at, you know, you want to start getting some ideas about real estate videos, follow Chris Cusimano. He does really, really good stuff. And realize that it doesn't have to be as good as the stuff that he does. You have to start somewhere. Go and watch, anytime you watch someone's YouTube videos and you're like, oh my gosh, this is really good, I really like it, go back and watch their very first video and watch where they started from. I guarantee you their very first video is garbage. And if it's not, it's because they've removed it because they realized it was garbage. All right, so let's go to the next slide. Let me see. Any ahas you had from that section? What stood out to you?
Well, I'm taking it you could talk about anything long as you're realistic or in who you are.
Yep. Authenticity. Have any of you guys heard of the trust triangle? Oh, I love
Heard
the
of
trust
it.
triangle. So heard of it. Okay. Well, you just now because I said it, right? So no, so the trust triangle, it's consists of three, right? I mean, it's really just three things, right? We call it a triangle because it's three. It's logic, authenticity, and empathy. Right? So people do work or do business with people they know, like, and trust, right? So if we want to earn people's trust, we have to prove that we have the logic, we know what we're talking about. We have to be authentic, which homeboy that I showed you that I said don't do what he does, it was not authentic. And then you have to have empathy. You have to actually care what people think and feel and what they're going through. Right? So we can build all that into our videos and tell people stories as well to attract clientele. Thank you for that, Ed. Anyone else get anything out of that short little portion there? Cool. Let's go to the next slide. All right. So got something in the chat. Oh, thanks for coming on. Have a good one. All right. So yeah, I'm just seeing if there were any questions there that I could answer. So, all right, now it's time to geek out a little bit. I love gear. I've been an audio engineer for almost 20 years. I've been doing video stuff for less time than that, but for years. I love this sort of stuff. I love gear. I love new toys. I'm a kid at heart. And I'm going to tell you right now, you don't need anything. You have everything you need right in your pocket. These days, the cameras that you have on these phones and the microphones that are on them are more than perfect for you to, at the very least, get started. Even at my home office, I've got like a $250 microphone. I have a $350 webcam. I have a green screen. I have all the things. And yet I'm still doing this class that I've done at my home office in this office with just AirPods and a $70 webcam, right? The reality is you don't need a ton of fancy equipment. So start with your phone. Just start talking to your phone. That's all you need to do. So if you are getting to the point now where you want to start getting better equipment, where out of these 4 sections, you're going to go buy something, camera, microphone, tripod or gimbal, or lighting, what should be the first thing you purchase?
Well, according to your screen, it says microphones.
Yes. Thank you for reading. Why do you think that is, Red?
So people can hear you better.
Well, that was a pretty dumb
That's a
response,
tough
Ed.
one.
I appreciate it. You're like,
So,
yeah.
so here's the problem. I have a camera that I've used for video a few times, and on windy days and cars running by, doing a conversation in front of a house can be challenging, and you've got all that distraction.
Yep. Yeah, I've got some gear recommendations after this for that, for sure. So, but yes, according to the slide, thank you for reading, Ed, is the first thing you should purchase is a microphone. The reality is, statistically, people will watch a video with poor video and good audio longer than they will watch a video with great video and poor audio. I'm a total audio geek as an audio engineer. So, I mean, of course, it's what I lean to immediately, and the statistics support it. So if you're going to put money into doing this, use a microphone. Now, I will say this, on top of like, hey, you don't need anything more, for many people, myself included, the new toys, all the gear is actually a hurdle to getting into video, right? When I'm in the position where, hey, I want to take a video about something, and I have to say, okay, let me get my tripod out, let me connect my camera, let me get my mic, plug it into my camera. Okay, let me put my lights up. I'm thinking about that process and I'm like, never mind. But if I'm like, oh, I should shoot a video about this, pull out my phone, walk around talking to my phone, done, upload it, that's a lot less friction to get going. And I do way more videos that way than I've ever done on my fancy camera, just because of that. So, I mean, these days, I think it would be foolish for you to buy a camera outside of your phone. Like, I would say, opt to spend a little bit more on your phone than you would to than do that rather than purchasing a camera, because the phone cameras are just so great these days. Tripods and gimbals, right? Tripod's good to have, and you can get them really cheap. Gimbals these days, the image stabilization that they build into these phones nowadays, you really don't need a gimbal at all. It's overkill. And again, that's one more step to prevent you from taking your videos. Oh, by the way, with your audio, I do want to make this point. Your surroundings have a lot to do with your audio. So if you're in a room with all hardwood floors, nothing on the wall, no furniture, right? Just, a vacant home, I'm sure you're very familiar with how a vacant home sounds, right? It's echoey, it's noisy, it's reverberating. And I wish I had this picture, but I took 2 pictures of my son. And it was perfect because one of them is just a standard photo I took on my phone, and the other one is I took it in portrait mode. And if you're not familiar with portrait mode, what it does is it blurs the background, right? So that photo, right? How much better do portrait mode photos look, right? With the blurred background. The reason is you are separating the subject from the background, right? So you're able to train the eye exactly where to look based on what is most clear. Now that same concept applies to audio, right? All the room noise and reverberation, that is the same as taking your background on your photo and making it just as clear as the foreground or the subject. So you're like, oh, what do I look at? What am I listening for? Right? What in here is the important part of the photo, rather than saying, oh, hey, I'm just going to cut out everything else and show you or tell you what the most important thing is. So you can think of audio, or think of every hard surface in a room like a mirror, and your voice is a flashlight. And if you're talking at a hard wall, that is like a flashlight in a mirror. It's just going to bounce all around. So a couple tips with that is, find quieter places, right? Ed, you mentioned the room noise or the wind noise, right? That's tough to get around when you're outside. And they make little things for that. But, getting as close to the camera as possible, whether you're using AirPods or like a little lapel mic, things like that are going to greatly reduce that noise, because the louder you are, the quieter the noise is in relation to that. Also, find somewhere, get a rug, right? Throw a rug down, have a couch, get some furniture. Don't talk at like a window, but actually I'm going to undo that. Never mind, ignore that. But don't talk in watch the areas you talk. If it's going to be a voiceover recording, right, go record yourself standing in a closet, right? All those clothes will dampen all that noise. So, and then lighting, I'm going to jump to lighting. And this is why I said, never mind about talking to a window, but lighting, it can be helpful to get some like panel lights or LED lights or whatever. But you'll look at me, I'm in a naturally lit room right now, and I think it looks very good. I have these terrible fluorescent lights above me, and those are, I don't like those, but I'm glad that I have this window right next to me, because this gives me a nice like cast on my face. But what I recommend people is, like, if you're taking video, take it looking at a window so that you're getting that lighting on your face, right? If I close this window here, it's going to be a lot less flattering. It's slightly less flattering. Well, I've got a filter on this too, which helps, but it's going to look less flattering if your lighting isn't even or is coming down on the top of your face.
When I came on the video today, I had an overhead light on, and this whole section of my head was like bright white. And I've done some videos where it's looked like that too. And that's frustrating for me.
Yep. You're a disco ball. Yep. So yeah, it helps to get, and if you have glasses too, that's something to keep an eye out for, no pun intended, with lighting, is you don't want to have, like, the ring lights are real popular. They're great. They light your face very evenly, but if you have glasses on, you end up seeing the reflection of the ring lights in the glasses, and it's very distracting. So with glasses, you want to have lights off like 45 degrees from you so that they don't reflect into the camera. So, but yeah, you do want some lighting that's just, I mean, even if you just get a lamp to put on your desk, that's just a nice glow, it's going to help.
Chris,
You don't
just
need to
to
go
give
crazy with 100. Yeah.
don't buy anything that you don't need. I actually bought a gimbal for my camera, and I've had it for 3 months, and it's still in the box in my car.
Hmm. Yep.
And I bought it specifically for listings, for walkthroughs of listings, and I've never even set it up.
Yep. I have 2 sets of wireless microphones that I've never done more than test them once they came in. I took them out of the box, tested them. Cool, they work, put them away, haven't touched them. So, yeah. So now editing. This is the fun part. So, I know green screen is real popular right now, and there's people always ask, how do you do that? So my go-to app recently has been CapCut. CapCut is a freemium app that works iPhone, Android, Mac, and PC. So you can do all that. CapCut's made by the people that make TikTok. So it's that same company. So it's already built for, mobile viewing in mind. For years, I've been using Final Cut Pro, which is Mac's Pro video editing software. And there are some effects that have taken me hours to build in Final Cut Pro that are just one tap on CapCut. And it has made me so angry that I've spent all this time building it, and then CapCut goes, and not only is it easier to use, it's usually better than what I built. So yeah, so CapCut's my go-to right now. You can do green screen with it. You can also do voiceovers with it. So you can take a video and then start at the beginning and just hit voiceover and then talk over that video. And just by the way, if you use CapCut, they will by default put the CapCut logo at the end. All you have to do is delete it and it'll go away. You don't have to even pay for anything to do that. So, but yeah, CapCut's my go-to, super easy to use and very robust for what it is. There's also iMovie. If you are wise enough to own an Apple product, there is iMovie, and that's a really great free software as well. There's various other ones out there. These are the 2 that I recommend because they're so accessible and easy to use, and I have so much experience with both of them. All right, so what's the process look like? What do we need to prepare for and time block for when we're making videos? I fail at this all the time, right? So the other day I had to make a video for the office that I was here, that I'm working in, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to clock out. Well, not clock out, but I'm going to pack up, and on my way walking out of the office, I'm going to make my video and then just post it. I walk out. First off, it takes 2 takes. I'm not a pro yet, guys. It took 2 takes. I'm sorry. But so it takes 2 takes, so it takes a little longer. And then I sit in my car. I'm like, you know what? I really want to edit it now. And I'm sitting in my car editing, and took me like 15, 20 minutes. I do the edit, I post it. I'm like, you know what? Now I'm leaving work at like 30 minutes later than I was planning on leaving. And now I'm late to meet my girlfriend, and I'm late now I'm hitting more traffic and all the things because I didn't like properly time block the process. So you're going to film it, obviously, then you're going to edit it. I love it with CapCut, guys. I just do my little selfie video, open it in CapCut, do my edits, and then you're going to post it. Now, this last step is storing your videos in a way that you can recall them and recycle them. Because you can post the same thing in like 3 months and nobody's going to realize you posted the same thing. You know why? The way reels work, especially, are you guys doing reels? I would recommend reels all day. First off, I posted a video on the fact that you can eat kiwis with the skin on them. And it was just, hey, fun fact, you can eat a kiwi with the skin on it. I ate the kiwi with the skin on it. Said, hey, it's kind of like a peach. And then that was the video. 2,500 views. Just eating a kiwi with the skin on it. I did another video about putting salt in chocolate milk to make it taste better. Just pro tip, by the way, a little bit of salt in your chocolate milk. If you look on the ingredients in any chocolate milk you buy, salt is one of the ingredients. Just throwing it out there. But that was 2,000 views, right? These are all people that have never seen me before. These are all just random people on the interwebs. And sometimes I still like randomly get someone liked your video because it continually shows up. So if it's not time sensitive, nobody's going to know that you reposted the same thing. Or if it's a longer video, chop it up into portions, right? Like for part 2, right? That's the big thing on the reels, right? And so part 1, part 2, part 3. There's some guy I follow that's on like part 67. Like, bro, it's time to give up. Find a new thing to part out, right? So recycle your content. Don't just post it and then delete it. Also, you want to cross post. It's something, I know it's a little time intensive to do it, but if you're doing reels, you want to post them on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. All the places. And when you're posting reels on Facebook, don't do the auto post to Instagram. Always manually upload it to Instagram, because I don't know why, every time I've done the auto post from Facebook to Instagram, gets 0 views. And I've done that before and then deleted it and uploaded it, and it was like over 100 views within the hour. I don't know why it does that, but post them separately. I currently, I've neglected TikTok. Back in 2020, I recorded myself singing some songs on TikTok, and then stopped doing it. I think I might have had a few too many and did one inappropriate video, which I took down, but it was 2020, guys. We all did things that we regret. So I'm having him put them on TikTok now so I can leverage that. Think of, you're casting a net, right? What if you, instead of casting 1 net, you cast 4 nets on every side of the boat, right? You're still catching fish. There's going to be different fish in different places. So, okay, I'm going to get into gear after this. So specific things, if you guys do want to get into gear. And actually here, after this, I'm going to answer some of the questions and then get into the gear. So any takeaways from that section?
Chris, I'm reminded from something you said that I did a video a while back on a dog park in a town near me. And when I posted it, I was like, oh, only 3 people looked at it, or only 3 people said anything about it. But I looked back a few months later and it had been shared like 300 times.
Yep.
I've done other videos at that time that didn't get any foot traffic, but that particular one for some reason did. But it sounds like it was all about, dog lovers, and it was about a walking park.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. So it's something too that I find is the more that you post, the more engagement you get, and the more the algorithm rewards you for being consistent. I know when I've done, it's kind of funny. You can tell that Facebook does kind of play with you a little bit. I've felt that as I'm doing videos. Like if I go on a long hiatus without doing videos and then do one, it'll get a ton of views because Facebook's like, oh, keep doing it. They want to give me that, it's like the heroin dealer gives you a little freebie, right? For you to keep coming back. No, none of you have been in that position. No. Okay. Yeah, so they really want to encourage you to post consistently. So it does help to, you're going to get better views the more you post and play the long game. Let's see. All right. So we talked through why to do videos, how to do videos, and what to do. And before, so there were a couple of things you guys said. So one thing was resounding, that was knowing what to say, right? You don't know what to say. So first off, let's start kind of narrowing our view of videos. Instead of like, well, we're not Bill Nye the Science Guy. We're not doing a massive educational 30-minute seminar, right? Little bites, little tiny bites, right? We can think of, I mean, how many times have you guys heard mortgage rates are too high, right? And what's reality? Historically, what's the reality right now?
It's pretty average.
Pretty average.
I had an
Content.
interest rate of 16% at one time.
Yeah, it's doing a 50-year like loop thing, and we're right where we're supposed to be.
Content right there. And you answered it in 30 seconds. That's a reel right there. Right? Every time someone asks you a question, turn around and make a video. Right? Make a reel. I can just do pop up my phone, right? Hey, I was just teaching this class, and this brilliant guy, Ed, asked me, hey, how do you come up with content for your videos? And what I told him was, you just take the questions that people ask you and regurgitate them and make a video out of it, exactly like what I'm doing. Boom, that was a video right there. And I didn't record it because I'm an idiot, but I could have turned around and made content out of that. So any question you hear, just answer it. That's the number one place to start. And then, have quirks about yourself. What are the things you're into? Just like I said with my skateboarding. Hey, here's some life lessons I learned at the skate park. Or tell client stories, get client testimonials. Or here's a great one is, again, the hero obstacle guide story. It's, hey, I was working with this buyer and they struggled to get a mortgage because of XYZ. Now, I connected them with my mortgage guy, Bob, Bob, blah, blah, and he was able to get them this type of mortgage. Did you even know that existed? Hey, yada, yada, yada. Let me help you if you're running into this issue. Right? Anytime you overcome a challenge, tell that story, but tell it in a way that someone else is winning and you're helping them win. Did I answer that fully enough? Yeah. Okay. So Tammy, you were saying you're struggling because you tend to look away from the camera.
I do.
You have a bit of a speech impediment.
I do.
You have kids that make fun of you.
Yep.
So these are all things that, I'll be honest, I have a son who's on the spectrum.
Mhm.
And in his diagnosis process, I realized that all of his symptoms I thought were real life. So we've determined that I'm, all of his therapists think I'm on the spectrum as well.
Yeah.
I struggle with looking at I look away from the camera all the time.
Okay.
If you watch any of my videos, you'll see I look away from the camera, but I just make it a point to try and look back at the camera.
I look
So-
back, but it's just like it happens all the time, and it does it. I'm fighting to not do it right now.
Yeah, go watch my reels. You'll see I look away from the camera all the time,
I will.
but I treat it more conversationally. Or what you can do.
Oh,
is
I
do
was
it like
joking.
this.
I don't know what I'm looking at over there. There's absolutely nothing. But getting back to what I was saying, because that's like
Yep.
really my personality. I tend to just, I don't know. It's just me.
Yeah. No, I forget what I was saying. But yeah, it's just a quirk. And it's okay to have quirks. And
If I do it too much sometimes, that's where I get flustered.
yeah, I would say don't think about it. Just go watch some of my videos. You'll
I
see,
will.
as long as you return back,
Mhm.
you'll be fine.
Okay.
The speech impediment,
Yeah.
I haven't heard that come out of you yet. And
Oh,
we've
it comes.
talked.
Yeah, see, I'm struggling with it right now. It comes out quite frequently, and when I'm slowing down my words, then you know that I'm struggling to get it out correctly. But
All right, so
I do have it. People do hear it.
I have another quirk of mine. I have multiple sclerosis.
Okay.
It's an autoimmune disease, right? And so I did a whole video about things, or I did a series. It was Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Week.
Mhm.
And so I was like, hey, here's a series of things I wish people knew about multiple sclerosis. And just do a series on things I wish people knew about speech impediments.
Yeah, they suck.
Yeah.
What you do,
Right,
they're
like-
it's embarrassing, and sometimes it's bad because it just sounds like I'm slurring my words, and I'm not. And I don't even drink, so it's like,
Yeah. So that, I mean, but that's something that, again, it's embrace your quirks
okay.
because it's something that makes you human.
Oh,
When
yeah.
you're inhuman, people are not attracted to you. You want to be a pure human to the world. So embrace
I
your
can't do
quirks.
anything else but Tammy. That's enough.
Yeah. Just be Tammy. And then your kids making fun of you, that's a great thing to just like throw into little clips. Like I think that's
Yeah, I'm trying to
hilarious.
convince my other half to let me put the kids on video because I have tons of stuff with them, but putting them on video for people to see is
Mhm.
been a conversation in
Um,
that's all. I
Okay.
want to put the kids up because they're funny and they help me,
Right?
yeah. So anyways,
I agree. I try to get my kids on video more. Yeah, it's a
yeah, I
challenge.
do too. What the
get it.
oldest daughter doesn't want to be, so I wouldn't force her, but the other two really want to be, and I think they'd be good. I'd like to
Yeah.
embrace them. Yeah.
Yep.
Do you hear that?
Leverage.
You hear
Take
that?
advantage of that cuteness.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You got to monetize them somehow, right? Like
Right? Make them keep and work for their keep.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Yep,
so-
exactly.
what? Monetize. Oh, Jesus. That's all right. There's that conversation. But yeah, I hear you. So thank you for that. I
and
will
then-
watch your reels.
And then I think it was Rhoda was talking about getting to the point. And
Yes, she did.
yeah, there were two things I take away from that. One, have you guys heard the term millennial pause?
No.
No. So that's something that Gen Z makes fun of us for. Where we start out a video and there's like, if there's any pause whatsoever before words are coming out of your mouth, that's the millennial pause. So when you're taking a video, like cut the front off until you actually hear words coming out of your mouth. Like that intake of breath, that's too much pause. Like
That's funny.
so chop that off. And that's a thing. And it's funny, since it's been made aware to me, it really bothers me now. It
I do
didn't
that all
bother
the
me as
time.
much.
I do that
Yeah.
all the time in the videos.
So yeah, just cut the front off, and it's super easy with CapCut to just circumcise that video right there.
My
And then
significant other he does marketing, so he'll get everything I need to be cut.
okay, there you go.
Yeah. That's
Um,
my pay grade.
But and again, we live in the Reels world. We live in a world where people's attention span is 15 seconds at best. So yeah, get to the point. Don't dance around the subject. The model I like to do is ask a question, answer the question. Hey, do you like XYZ? Well, you should check out this, yada, yada, yada. Hey, have you struggled with this before? This is the answer that I found. So, yeah, just, hey, what am I going to talk about? Talk about it. Get to it. If it's a multi-point, make 3 videos. If it's 3 points, make 3 videos. Stretch that content out. And the last one, Ansh, I wish he was still here. He was talking about things being complicated. They're complicated if we make them complicated. If you look at my videos, the reels that I've created, I don't think they're that bad. I think they're decent reels. And I've never spent more than an hour on editing any of those reels. Most of them I've spent 20 minutes or less. So we don't need to do the crazy post-production stuff. As we grow, we'll probably want to, but at that point we can hire an editor and leverage that out. So, or just marry a marketing guy. All right, I'm going to jump past that. So I want to share these. If you scan this QR code, you're going to see some links to this. Let me actually scan it and double check that it is still Yes. So this will take you to a Google Drive that has all these links. And like, so let me just walk through a few of these. This kit.co site has a bunch of recommended products. Ulanzi is also a brand that we recommend. Brett Bishop is a massive fan of them. He has tons of their products. And he's got a whole kit of like how to have like a microphone, a mini tripod that also converts into like a selfie stick that you can hold with a light, and a phone mount for I think just over $100. And so it's something you just keep in your car, snap your camera and snap your phone into it, and just be able to get some good video and audio. These are the editing softwares. There's Filmora and Movavi in here. Those are paid and ones that Brett has used. I'll fight Brett on it all day. Try CapCut first and then move to other things. Some YouTube channels for inspiration. And then we have a Facebook group called The Real Deal Community where we chit chat about video content. So yeah, if you scan that QR code, you'll be able to get links to all of those things. It's literally just this slide, but you can, click on the links. Well, guys, it is 2:01. I've kept you a minute past. This has been a great class. Thank you so much for attending. And I will see you guys on Tuesday. Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.